When I first crafted these 5-Meo-Dmt vape pens, I got really excited and I played around with them quite a lot. And there are different strengths. For example, the 1 to 12, the 1 to 5, or the 1 to 2, or even the 1 to 1. And I played around with the low doses of the 5-Meo-Dmt. But I did notice that I didn't like it. And in this video I want to share my experiences with low dose 5-Meo-Dmt vape pens and how it felt, what I experienced, and how I might not want to go forward with this kind of dose of 5-Meo-Dmt. So, hey, I'm Virgo. This is Psychedelic Actualization. I love to help psychonauts find and actualize their life purpose. And on this channel we talk about, working with psychedelics responsibly and in a mature manner for self-actualization and self-realization, right? That's the aim of conscious psychedelic use for our development. And I thought 5-Meo-Dmt is like the God molecule, right? It's like I have had experiences, breakthrough experiences where it was just like this pure void, this pure nothingness, pure being as well, this pure I am. And it felt so... Well, you can watch my trip reports. It's like, it's beyond words, right? And I thought with low-dose 5-Meo-Dmt, I might wanted to use it for meditation. Of just taking a little bit of 5-Meo-Dmt, taking it in, and then getting a little bit of this blissful God state into my meditative state, into my meditation practice. So that was the idea. But it's not quite working out as I thought it might. And it's interesting because with NN-DMT, I have experimented with low doses of NN-DMT or with Changa, and it felt very blissful. It felt very beautiful. It felt very energizing in a very positive and pleasant way. What I have found in my experiences with the 5-Meo-Dmt is that it's quite uncomfortable. In my first video that I was doing about this experience and trying it for the first time, I was kind of surprised, I was excited, I was like, oh, this is quite nice to tap into the space and to be able to control the dosage of the 5-Meo-Dmt through the vape pens. But as I've experimented more with it, I was like, I couldn't kind of define what this experience wanted to show me. Because as I'm going into this state of the 5-Meo-Dmt, I notice, I try to get into the meditative state, and then there's something happening, but I cannot quite grasp it, right? There's no visuals, there is bodily vibrations, like a lot of energy moving through the body, that's for sure. But all of my experiences didn't really feel blissful. I couldn't really tap into this bliss, and even my mind is still kind of running on in the background. And I noticed a little bit of discomfort in my mind, in my spirit kind of, a little bit of anticipation of something happening, but not really being able to accept it or surrender into that or really, relax into that, even though I do try to relax into these experiences. And then, even when I take a little bit more and I go from the low dose into the medium dose range with the 1 to 4 pen, it gets more intense and sometimes I get swept out of my body. But even that is kind of more confusion than clarity. And I was surprised by that because usually if I go all the way with the 5-Meo-Dmt, it's absolute clarity. But all of these stages before this absolute breakthrough are not just a little bit clarity, but more confusion. So that's just an interesting observation I made for myself. And that's about it. And sometimes even there was, at times, not really most of the times, but at a few occasions there was a little bit of fear or even this anticipation of panic or something being wrong or not wanting to be in the experience came up over and over again at a few occasions. And that was also quite unpleasant and uncomfortable. So that was basically my experience with low-dose 5-MeO-DMT. I did talk to quite a few people also in the 5-MeO-DMT space, and most of them were sharing like, yeah, it's like I don't enjoy low-dose 5-MeO-DMT either way. Like I really prefer to just go all the way or not do it at all, which is interesting. I gotta experiment more with the snorting and the plugging, because there it seems to be a different kind of or different flavor of experience where it is kind of not as intense as a full breakthrough, but extended over a longer period of time. I think that was the idea with the vape pens as well, right? To not go for full breakthrough, but extended. But yeah, for me, I tried again and again and again, but I couldn't really grasp anything. It didn't really feel good. I didn't really get any insights even out of this. But it did kind of feel like a little bit like medicine was working and energy was moving through my body. So something was happening. Also, on a last note, an interesting observation with the bufo, which is basically the same substance, right? With the bufo frog venom from the Bufo alvarius frog, I did notice more peace, more pleasantness in my experiences. You can watch some of my trip reports where I did go for a sub-breakthrough dose of bufo. Unintentionally, I'll have to say. So with the bufo, I always tried to go for the breakthrough, but there was a little bit of hesitation, or I just didn't smoke enough to go for the full breakthrough and kind of landed in a sub-breakthrough space. But in this space of the sub-breakthrough experience of the bufo, it always felt very peaceful. That's where I kind of got like what I imagined myself to get into with the vape pens as well, with the 5-MeO. Just like a not ultimate bliss and selflessness, but just like a deep recognition and insight and understanding of Satchitananda, of like this existence, consciousness, bliss, truth of existence, with like this deep feeling of peace coming forth into my experience. So that's interesting that happened for me with the bufo, but it didn't happen for me with the 5-MeO-DMT synthetic ones with the vape pens, which is such an interesting question, right? It's such an interesting question. I would love to hear your experiences about this. If you have had any experiences of sub-breakthrough doses of 5-MeO-DMT, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, just a word of caution. If you experiment with 5-MeO-DMT, be very, very careful. It's a very potent substance. It catapulted me into a complete spiritual crisis and emergency. You can watch the trip report right here, and I also wrote a book, an ebook about my whole spiritual crisis. And I have talked to, you can download it for free. And I've talked to quite a few people actually. It's surprisingly common, I guess. I was a little bit shocked by how many people I met who did fall into a spiritual crisis or kind of a life crisis out of a 5-MeO-DMT experience. So if you are willing to go into that space, do so with care, maybe with a facilitator. Definitely for the first couple of times. I even like to have somebody there always, even with low dose experiments, just because it can seem in my videos that way that I'm experimenting alone. There's quite a strict protocol and like safety measures in place to decrease the risk and increase the safety of something happening, if something is going to be happening. So that's about it. Low dose 5-MeO-DMT. I'll shoot another video about some fun other experiences I had with low dose 5-MeO-DMT, because it was not all unpleasant, but also some fun, pleasant experiences came about at festivals, for example, or with music, and it was quite an interesting one. But stay tuned and subscribe for that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Blessings.